Wow, what a week this has been for Cowboys fans and the Cowboys team. Dallas has beat the two Super Bowl teams from 2024 within 4 days of each other. A comeback win over the Eagles and a great win over the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. What a time to be here with all of you on the Landry Hat podcast. Welcome in. Subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. Review the pod. Let Apple Podcast, Spotify know that you're enjoying it. When you listen, leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed it that much. And if you're watching here on YouTube, let me know down below in the comments. It helps a ton. It lets other Cowboys fans know what we're doing here and how excited we are for a win. So if you could, make me happy, other Cowboys fans happy when they find this channel, and my bosses at FanSided happy. It helps a ton. I am your host, Zach. I have my own YouTube channel where I talk Cowboys football over at Double Move if you guys want to check that out, if you've never seen my face before. But today, for the Landry Hat, we're going to talk about, probably rant about both of these games, honestly, because what a week it's been for Dallas. My goodness, what a week. Let's start with talking about the Chiefs game, because that's the one that obviously everyone's really excited about right now. They beat the Eagles on Sunday, coming back from a 21-point deficit, scoring 24 unanswered to get that win. But the Chiefs game was the one that felt like the season was hanging in the balance. If Dallas wasn't able to win this game, they're probably not going to make the playoffs, because then they have to go on the road to play the Detroit Lions. Their odds went from like 13% all the way down to 3 or 4%. They would have been relying on a whole lot more scenarios if they lost this one. This was their season. And we're going to talk about it here on the Landry Hat as well as we get closer to the Lions game, but that's another one where it feels like Dallas has to win. In this one, Dak Prescott played at an MVP level. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes because, one, he was playing a much better defense. I talked about it over on the Arrowhead Addict that I was worried about this matchup because in the past, when a team, we saw it with the Broncos, has two cornerbacks that can just match up man-to-man on the outside with those two receivers, then it becomes an issue if they're not able to get open, they're not getting separation. Dallas isn't able to just hit big plays with Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens on the outside because they're being blanketed by those corners. That was a concern coming into this one. And early on, my concerns were very valid. Dak Prescott threw that interception, pressure up the middle, tries to step into it, it has to short arm it because he's getting hit. I was like, man, this is just how it's going to start. Steve Spagnuolo is going to heat him up on third down. Pickens and Lamb aren't going to be able to get separation on the outside. There's going to be pressure in Dak's face. You're playing without Tyler Guyton. Nate Thomas is in the lineup, and that one wasn't even his fault. I was just really concerned going into this one because of the Chiefs' defense. They've been good this year. I think they're like middle of the pack in EPA, but when you look at yards given up per game, points given up per game, and this and that, they're actually at the top of the league in a lot of those metrics. Trent McDuffie is one of the NFL's best cornerbacks. He is a monster. I would love for Trent McDuffie to be on the Cowboys. He's an excellent corner, and he just couldn't handle Ceedee or Pickens yesterday. Jalen Watson's having a top 12 season, according to PFF. I know that's not the gospel. That's not the football Bible. PFF has him pretty highly rated. He's played well this year. But it doesn't matter. When you have Dak Prescott, when you have Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens, Dak was 27 of 39, 320 yards, averaged 8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, had the interception early on. I believe it was his second throw of the game. After that, was nearly perfect. After that interception, he was 27 of 37 for 320 yards, had an 86 quarterback rating, which was better than Mahomes, and a 100.4 passer rating. And I thought he did it without a really good run game. Not saying that Javonte Williams was bad. I think the offensive line could have done some better things after watching the All-22, especially early on in the game running the football. Javonte was 17 of 59, 3.5 yards per attempt, and had a long of 11. Now, where the run game did help Dallas yesterday was Malik Davis hitting that 43-yard touchdown. 3 carries for 47 yards, averaging 15.5 yards per attempt. His other runs didn't go for nearly as much, but he hit that big home run play from 43 yards out And that's what this offense was missing in 2024. Coming into the year, I kept saying they got to get some big plays on the ground. They got to be able to, when they're playing good teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to get explosive plays. We know that they can do that with the wide receivers on the outside, but can you get a spark with your run game? And that was the turning point. That Malik Davis touchdown run was the turning point in this one, and it helped Dallas win this game. I mean, you don't have to methodically get down the field and get 7-yard tier, 8-yard tier. Dak doesn't have to throw it another 4 or 5 times to get you down in scoring position. Malik Davis takes it to the house. So for the running game to not be all that great, to start out with the interception, you're playing Patrick Mahomes, it felt like Dallas was in control. After that first drive by Kansas City where they score after the turnover, 2 plays, 31, 37 yards, something like that. A lot of what they were doing defensively got better after the second touchdown. They didn't give up a touchdown until later on in the game. And I'm going to read you guys some of these play-by-plays, because this would not have happened before the Quinnen Williams trade and before Savon Ravel got back and DeMarvion Overshown and Logan Wilson was here and Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Like, this just would not have happened. So Dak throws the interception, 3 plays, 6 yards, turnover on downs, 2 plays, 37. I'm thinking, here we go again. This is just going to be one of those games where they just can't get things going on offense. They turn the ball over. The defense can't get a stop. Dallas turns around on offense, goes 12 plays, 75 yards in 6 minutes, ties it up. Defense goes back out there on the field. They give up a 12-play, 72-yard touchdown drive, and it's 14-7. Still a little bit nervous. Dallas goes out there on offense, 10 plays, 53 yards in 4.5 minutes. They kick the field goal. The game at this point could have gone one of 2 ways. It could have gone, Dallas doesn't get a stop, the Chiefs go down, they score a touchdown, 21-10. The pressure's back on the offense, and if they can't get anything going, then the game is at risk of getting out of hand. What do? 7 plays, 29 yards in 4 minutes. Punt. Dallas, 8 plays, 85 yards, touchdown. At that point, Dallas never gave up the lead again, up 17-14. The Chiefs still have a chance before halftime to maybe double dip, go on a drive, and maybe kick a field goal to tie the game and then get the ball back after half, or go and score a touchdown, make it 21-17, and before the Dallas offense can even get the ball back, it's 28-17. What did the Dallas defense do? 8 plays, 16 yards, punt. And one of the biggest things that they did in this one compared to what we've seen in the past is getting the Chiefs into 3rd and long situations, not letting teams get into 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, because that's obviously much easier to pick up. And in today's NFL, they're going for it almost every single time, especially on the other side of the 50-yard line, because, I mean, the analytics say to do that. If it's 3rd and 3, you got 2 plays to get 3 yards. Against this defense, even with Quinnen Williams and some of the other pieces back, like, it's not that hard to move the ball, I would say, but it's now the splash plays that the defense is getting, the sacks, the run stuffs, forcing them into 3rd and long situations, and that was a huge difference maker. So come out of halftime, Dallas still has control, 14-17. What does the defense do? 3 plays, 5 yards, punt. They're forcing punt after punt after punt, and it's giving the offense every single opportunity. And now we're talking about complementary football. Now, this is the NFL. Every single time the defense gets a stop, the offense isn't going to go down and score. But beforehand, it was the offense has to score every single time because the defense is going to give up a touchdown every single time. Now we're starting to get into that balanced, complementary football. Defense forces a punt, 3 plays, 5 yards. Dallas is forced to punt, 3 plays, 8 yards. You're like, oh, man, I wish we could get a touchdown, maybe make it 24-14. But sometimes that's how it goes. Then I'm thinking, okay, what if the defense can't hold Patrick Mahomes forever? So what can they do now? 7 plays, 19 yards, punt. Now, punt it back to Dallas, get the field goal, go up 6 points, and now you're more than a field goal away, and the Chiefs have to score a touchdown to take the lead, not just kick a field goal to tie it anymore. Defense gives up a touchdown, 11 plays, 80 yards to start the 4th quarter. Dallas is now down 1. I actually lied a bit earlier. I said that they never gave up the lead again. I forgot they did, but it was because the offense was playing so well that I I just had so much belief that they were just going to move the football at will. As long as there wasn't a really big negative play or a hold call, a holding here or there, I figured they can move the football down the field. 8 plays, 68 yards, touchdown, and the 2-point conversion. That was the George Pickens drive, and I would sign that man for $38 million a year. Whatever it takes to keep George Pickens in Dallas, I am 110% on board. You got to keep that guy on your team. He has kept you and helped you win 2 games in a row against 2 Super Bowl contenders and teams. Last week against the Eagles, he goes for 140, 150 yards. Ceedee struggled. Pickens is there. This game, Ceedee played really well, but who did you look to down the stretch to make that play and eventually take the lead again? George Pickens. He has to stay on this team. I can't even remember a player in Dallas. Now, I know that Dak's played well and Zeke's played well, and you've had these guys over the past decade with Dez Bryant and Jason Witten. Guys make plays, right? George Pickens in monumental, huge games is not at all fazed by what is happening. He's just not. He had the fumble. You don't love that. It was also a really good punch out by the defender. But Pickens is not fazed at all by these teams. He does not care who it is, who the cornerback is, if it's Trent McDuffie or Jalen Watson or Pat Surtain. He doesn't care. He thinks he's going to win every single rep, and a lot of the times he does. And he had the 2-point conversion. He had the big 39-yard catch where he hurdled the guy. That picture's been all over Instagram and your mom's Facebook and all of that. It's everywhere. Sign George Pickens. Sign him. If Dallas wins a Super Bowl in 2026 season, 2027, I truly 100% believe it'll be because Pickens is just making plays down the stretch of really big games and giving you a chance in every single one. So, get the touchdown, 2-point conversion, go up 21-28. Then play complimentary football. The defense gave up an 11-play, 80-yard drive before. What do they do this time? 3 plays, 2 yards in a minute and 50. The Chiefs are forced to punt the ball back to you. Then Dallas gets the field goal. Go up 10 points with 5-ish minutes remaining in the game. You feel pretty good about that. I mean, getting the field goal is complimentary football. The defense couldn't get a stop, 7 plays, 67 yards for the Chiefs, and then they get it back within 3 scores. Then, go ice the game. 8 plays, 39 yards in 3.5 minutes. Go bleed out the clock and end the game. Don't play to lose or to not lose. Play to win. And I thought Brian Schottenheimer did a really good job of that in this game. They had the kill shot early on with like 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth, a 51-yard pass to Ceedee that set them up for that field goal. Don't just sit around and wait to lose to Patrick Mahomes. When you're playing teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs and eventually the Rams and Seahawks, if you get into the playoffs, you're going to be facing teams like that. You have to just go for a win. You can't sit around and wait for great quarterbacks to make plays and make throws against this defense, although much improved. You still got to know your team to a certain extent. So to see Brian Schottenheimer really take control and say, we're going to go win this, we're going to ice the clock, we're not giving it back to Mahomes so he can go set up a field goal and go into overtime and play from. No, go win the game. So shout out to Dak Prescott and Ceedee Lamb. Ceedee was 7 for 112. Bounce back game after the Eagles. It just seems like he's cursed against the Eagles. I don't really know what's going on with that. Comes back with a legacy game. That 51-yard catch is going to be replayed by Cowboys fans for a long, long time, and it's going to be synonymous with this game. Same thing for George Pickens. That catch for 39 yards where he hurdles the guy. That picture is going to be everywhere. So the end of time and be synonymous with that Thanksgiving win. He was 6 for 88. You'd like to see a little bit better efficiency on a per-target basis from Pickens, but I thought this was the best complementary game that Lamb and Pickens have played together since Lamb got back from that injury. It didn't feel like either guy was really force-fed the ball, or they were trying to get it to him or him. But on a per target basis, Pickens had 6 on 13 targets. Maybe you'd like to get that number up a little bit, but you can't have everything in this world, all right? you just got to go with it. They combined for 200 yards, 13 catches, 200 yards, and a touchdown. That's probably going to win you a majority of games in the NFL, especially when the defense can get their stops when they need to. Shout out to Kevontae Turpin. Got that fumble recovery after Pickens fumbled it inside the 10-yard line, up 7. That saved you 3 points and maybe a 10-point swing if the Chiefs get the ball back and go 95 yards down the field and tie up the game. We're probably talking about a completely different thing here. So to get that fumble recovery, I've talked a lot about Turpin and what his use is in the offense and what they're trying to do and why are we getting him the ball so much. I thought he had a really good game yesterday. His sweet spot is 2 catches for 28 yards. That's what he had yesterday. Same thing for Ryan Flournoy, 3 catches for 34. Jake Ferguson, 5 for 36. One of the best Jake Ferguson games that Dallas has had in a long, long time. I really wish that touchdown counted because that would have put the game even more out of reach. But all 3 of those guys, getting them involved. Javonte Williams had the touchdown on a short pass, 3 catches for 21. And I just thought it was very, very complimentary for the entire offense. Maybe it means that Schottenheimer's kind of figuring out what everyone's role is here. He's not trying to get Tolbert involved or Mingo or whoever it is. It's number 1, Ceedee Lamb, George Pickens. They're your 1 and 2, whichever way you want to do it. You can flip it back and forth every single week. I don't care. They're both playing magnificent. Then you have Ferguson, who's just kind of sprinkled in there. 5 catches for 36 yards, picked up some big third downs, especially later on in the game, almost had that touchdown. Ryan Flournoy made some big plays, just kind of sprinkled throughout the game. They weren't just consistently trying to get him the ball, but when he does, he makes things happen. I really like Flournoy, and I just want to see him continue to get better and better. And if they can keep Lamb and Pickens and Flournoy around for the next 3 years, I think Ryan has 2 more years after this one. To keep those guys around for the next 2 years, that is a damn good wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. I feel so confident in the offense if you have those guys. And I was really impressed with the offense. 31 points against a pretty good defense. Those corners and Steve Spagnuolo, especially responding after that Dak interception. Shout out to the offense. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball.
Underdog is your place to get in on all of the NFL action, and it's that time again. Feast Week is back on Underdog. From November 26th through November 30th, check the app daily for special promos. The Cowboys are in action on Thanksgiving against the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams are coming off massive wins, and neither can afford a loss in their respective conferences' playoff races. It does not get much better than that. Now for Dallas, I'm going to go back to the Ceedee Lamb well. He burned us last week by dropping 3 passes, but Brian Schottenheimer said he is going to feed his number 1 receiver. And on a personal level, I think Lamb will rise to the occasion. I'm looking at Lamb for higher than 6.5 receptions. I'm also looking at Javonte Williams for lower than 67.5 rushing yards. The Chiefs have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Then they are fresh off holding Jonathan Taylor, the league's leading rusher, to 58 yards on 16 carries last Sunday. On the Chiefs side, I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes for higher than 22.5 rushing yards. Mahomes is running more than ever this season, and Dallas's linebackers have struggled to contain mobile quarterbacks this season. Download the app today, sign up with promo code Landry to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Landry. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
For just a minute. And I'm actually going to start this one out talking about Savone Ravel, because that was when I was watching the All-22. I watched it one time through, then I sifted to Revel and just his snaps, or just passing snaps. I believe that's what it was, like attempts, whatever. I filtered through. I thought he had a really good game. I'm planning on releasing an All-22 video over on my YouTube channel talking about Revel and his ability to now run on that knee. He seems a lot more confident. He played 57 total snaps in this one. He was the starting corner. He stayed out there a majority of the game, and it seems like Eberflus really trust him. They had him lined up man-to-man on the outside against Rashee Rice on a slant towards the end of the game. When it was a gotta-have-it touchdown, the Chiefs throw it to Revel, and there was nowhere to go with the ball. So, I mean, that's what we meant by you got to start getting players back defensively, because if that would have been, no offense to him, Bridges or Kyer Elam or anything like that, they would have 100% given that up. Revel played really good. He showed that he can run. He stuck with Xavier Worthy 60 yards down the field on a deep vertical route. He was in Rashee Rice's hip pocket on a number of different drags. Same thing with Xavier Worthy. He wasn't perfect. There's still some things that he can clean up with his vision and quicker reaction times on passes underneath, going and making a tackle, stuff like that. As far as just covering man-to-man on the outside, that is his strength. That is what he excels at. And it really showed up in yesterday's game. Jadeveon Clowney, another guy on defense that played magnificent. 2 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. Both of those were coverage sacks. But to see the veteran never giving up, finding Mahomes after he's scrambling around, moving around, trying to find a guy deep downfield. I think that it's a really big deal for this defense to be getting coverage sacks, because that was not a factor at the beginning of the season. There was a couple of near misses in this one. Dante Fowler had one as well. I thought he had a good game off the edge. They were kind of struggling to block him there for a while. They could have sacked Mahomes maybe 4, 5, 6 times in this one. At the end of the day, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's really good moving in and outside the pocket, making throws on the run. That near flag for hitting out of bounds or roughing the passer or whatever that was the most egregious call. If that would have stood, it would have easily been the most egregious roughing the passer call in NFL history. Mahomes is actively... I wanted to talk about this. I haven't talked about this on any channel, but the fact that Mahomes is a yard and a half, 2 yards from going out of bounds, he's still actively trying to throw the ball, and you can't push him without the flag being thrown, is the most egregious thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That was insane. All right, done with the rant about that. Defense as a whole, I thought played well. DeMarvion Overshown had a couple of plays. He's looking better, moving sideline to sideline. There was a rep against Mahomes where he scrambled out on a 3rd and 14. He was a quarterback spy. He couldn't get that done. All in all, though, it feels good to see the linebackers moving sideline to sideline. I really wish, I'm not going to say his name, 59 would get less snaps. I really can't. I don't love when 59 is out there on the field, I think. Not sure you have a much better option. Let's see some more Shamar James, some more Logan Wilson, and they're going to pick on your linebackers in coverage against the run. They're going to make 59 and even Logan Wilson. They did it with Kareem Hunt, trying to flip the ball out into the flat, getting everybody flooding to one side, throw it out, make Logan Wilson, make your linebackers cover the entire side of the field against a running back like Kareem Hunt. And I think they popped that one for 12 or 15 yards. So I'm not sure you have the horses with your linebackers outside of Overshown. I do like Shamar James. He's just a young player. It's hard to trust him in big games like this. He had a couple of snaps in this one. All in all, though, the defense, I know they gave up 28 points, but Dallas kind of spotted them 7. The offense spotted them 7 points. They get the ball in 37. You're playing Mahomes. You're in the first 15 to 20 plays that are really scripted of a game. Andy Reid and the Chiefs' offensive coaching staff knew how they were going to attack Dallas. They started spacing you out, motioning, different run types, some counter runs, little flip outs and wide receivers tunnel screen to Rashee Rice. Kind of got spotted 7 points. So I'm not going to completely say, oh, well, they gave up 28 to the Chiefs, who haven't been a great offense this year. Rashee Rice is a really good receiver. Xavier Worthy is a really good downfield threat, and they handled him pretty well. Rice had, let's look, he had 8 for 92. He did have the 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns, and this really made me mad when it was happening because I didn't understand that Bland was out quite yet. When Bridges was in there, that touchdown was on him. That's a undrafted rookie free agent corner playing out there. Like that's not good. That's not good at all. when you have Rice lined up on Bridges. That's why I'm so happy that they're finally getting their corners back. Hopefully Diggs will be back soon with Revel and Kalen Carson. It was a really big deal that he missed this game. Hopefully he's back healthy for the Lions. I really like their cornerback room if they can kind of get some guys back healthy and stay healthy with Kalen Carson and Revel and Diggs and Bland. Bland, like I said, went out of this game with a foot injury. He ended up returning. But that one touchdown that Rashee Rice had was on the undrafted free agent that they picked up on waivers that had been cut before the season started. That's just not a good matchup, and that's just not having the horses to really cover. That's what happened in the Denver Broncos game, why they got beat so bad. So I feel like I've rambled about this game for quite a while now, and I just want to give my kind of closing thoughts on what I think has happened over the past 4 days. Dallas beats both Super Bowl teams from 2024 after their season looked completely finished. They were done. They weren't going to win any more games. It was over. There's some life there, guys. There's some real life in this team. It feels different, especially now that the defense can get stops, but just the aura that this team has. They think that they can beat anybody. They've competed with just about every team, and I don't think they've really been out-coached that much. There were some things in that Eagles game that I think Brian Schottenheimer needed to clean up and needed to do better, but as far as schematically and having the team ready to play, I don't want to say that they've been out-coached all that much this year. They out-coached Andy Reid yesterday. They were a better coached team against the Eagles. The penalties are going down. I'm extremely, extremely excited about what the rest of this season holds for Dallas. I will tell you, and we can end it off on this, no one wants to play this Dallas team. I can promise you that. This is one of those teams that isn't great to start the year. They're kind of trying to find themselves. They get behind. They put themselves in a bad position to make the playoffs. Get hot at the right time. At one point this year, Dallas had a 3% chance of making the playoffs. Right now, as it currently sits, they have a 20% chance of making the playoffs. Beat the Lions next week, you're starting to get in that 50, 60, 70% range, right? Where winning out probably gets you into the dance. I can tell you right now, nobody wants to play this Dallas team. They're getting hot at the right time with those two receivers, with a solid run game, with Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level, with the defense, with Quinnen Williams and DeMarvion Overshown and Savon Ravel coming along, Diggs coming back, Deron Bland, Malik Hooker. No one wants to play this team. It reminds me of the 2021 49ers with a better quarterback when Jimmy G was kind of keeping them afloat, but the roster was so good. Didn't start out the year great. They were so well coached, great scheme, good defense. It's just a more high-powered version of that. Maybe flip it a little bit. The offense is really good. That 49ers defense was really good. They beat Dallas in the playoffs as a wild card team. I'm so excited about what the rest of the season holds. Dallas sits 9 in the playoff rankings right now. You really hope that the Carolina Panthers lose to the Rams this week. The Detroit Lions lost to the Green Bay Packers. You play them next week. Win that Lions game, and then we're talking about the playoffs for real. That's all I got for you guys today here on the Landry Hat. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. I try to keep these very concise, but when I'm sitting here talking to you guys to my computer screen, it's kind of hard to stay on track. I want you guys to go stand in the mirror and talk to yourself for 30 minutes straight. It's tough out here, but I love talking about Cowboys football. I love talking to you guys, and if you have any thoughts, concerns, want to let me know that you enjoyed the show, head down to the comments here on YouTube. If you want to let me know that you enjoyed the audio version, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It really helps us in the algorithm. We're trying to get this thing really going on the audio side, and I really appreciate your guys' support. My name is Zach. You can find me at Double Move, all one word, on YouTube. I make Cowboys videos over there. Maybe we'll have a Savon Ravel All 22 video out today if time allows. Thank you guys for listening, watching, subscribing, and liking the video, and giving a 5-star rating. I love you guys. And I'll see you on one of these channels. Go Cowboys. What a 4-day stretch. All right, guys.